You're watching a segment of The Splash, Greater West Bloomfield's news magazine show. And another thing that's so great about having awesome guests like Jim here on the show is the interviews that I get to have with them as well. In fact, here are a few clips of some others which ended up being really popular on the show.
But I was kicking in soccer, knew how to do that, so I dabbled in other positions, but kicking was what I was best at. So I did that, went to Washington State University, and then was drafted by Detroit.
And it's obvious kicking is what you're best at. You mean in your time with the Lions, you were not, like I mentioned, the highest scoring player on the team, but I mean most field goals of 40 or more yards, most consecutive field goals of 40 or more yards. I mean most career game winning field goals in overtime. You're tied with a couple other players, but you've become the first player in NFL history to score 2,000 points with one franchise. I mean, do you ever just look back on it and say, wow, I did all that? Or, you know, is it just, does it ever shock you?
Well, I mean, yeah, because when I was playing soccer and starting in football, I had no idea that I was ever going to play that long for an NFL team.
As we sit here today, they're 5-4 atop the NFC North.
Exactly. And even more interesting is the conversation on how Stafford is, you know, people are saying he's the next elite quarterback, one of the greatest that Detroit has ever had. Well, would you agree with that?
Well, he's the best Detroit has had since Bobby Lane, which was before my time even.
Yes, as well as mine.
But he has been terrific. And when they say elite, they mean elite by pay.
Yeah. And like we said, too, you shoot a lot of nature. And a lot of nature. There's a lot of nature here in West Bloomfield, too. The parks and the trails. And, you know, tell me a little bit about that, your nature experience.
Well, believe it or not, I used to live in Sylvan Lakes. I used to take the rail to trails all the way through West Bloomfield, and I would see deer, fox. Now I hike with cameras. So I gave up the bicycle, and now I'm hiking with 2-3 cameras.
That's even more.
Yeah, and I'm shooting nature documentaries.
Welcome back to The Splash, everyone. I'm Jonathan Jackson, and my guest on the show this week is Dr. Mona Hanna-Attisha. She's the director of Hurley's Pediatric Residency Program, a placeholder within Time Magazine's 100 Most Influential People of 2016, and a resident here within the township of West Bloomfield. So, Dr. Mona, thank you for stopping by today.
Thanks for having me, Jonathan. It's great to be here.
The last one I did was called The Deer Hunter. We shot it in 4K.
High definition? Yeah.
High definition. Yeah. And it's on cable with the rest of my films. All my films are on YouTube for free. You don't have to pay anything. The Holocaust films, my nature films. I probably have, I guess, about 200 films online.
Even the Emmy Award nominated film, too, the Stephen Goldman.
And most of them are shot in this area, so I mean.
Then, you know, after you play a decade, then you play another decade. And so it was a great ride. It was a lot of fun to play for Detroit.
Now, a lot of people have been saying Hall of Famer. I don't know if you've heard these words yet, but I mean, in a couple of years, you will be eligible to be nominated. Do you think you should be a Hall of Famer, and you know, for the Detroit Lions?
More, and I'm not a huge Stafford fan, but you got to give him credit. He's done great this year.
Yeah, that's true. Very true.
And he's still only 28.
Yes, yeah, you know, and he's got some more years on him, unlike Calvin, who unfortunately left us. But he's using more of his options, and he's got many wide receivers that we've noticed have really stepped up their game. And defensive-wise, though, I wonder, what are your thoughts on that? The Lions have struggled with that, as well as, I mean, many players have been injured, of
course.
That's
the big key, Jonathan, especially, you know, now they got Haloti Ngata back, which helps. Ziggy Ansah was out for a while. Hopefully he can get back to being the Ziggy that we all know and love. Their linebackers are still not very good.
And that's when Kids Kicking Cancer was born.
That's amazing. Yeah, I mean, all about martial arts is teaching you how to breathe properly
in order to. It's empowerment. It's meditative. It's a focus. And because the kids believe in the martial arts, we can get into their heads quickly, and we can now evidence, based on medical science, that we are lowering these children's pain.
Unbelievable. That's unbelievable. I mean, you yourself, you've studied the martial arts for many years now, and now you're passing it on to these kids. Now, the things you're teaching them, though, it's not, you know, not mostly the fun.
There's no contact. There's zero contact. It's really about breathing in that light, pushing out the darkness, and the children have a mantra: power, peace, purpose. That they can bring in this energy, push out pain, fear, and anger. We asked the thousands of kids that we worked with through the years.
Well, Dr. Mona, around this time last year is when you had started to notice that correlation between the lead levels in Flint and also the lead poisoning in children. And, you know, since then you've had a very busy year, to say the least. But can you take us back to that moment last year when you had just started to notice this?
Absolutely. So it was almost exactly a year ago. It was August of 2015, and I was at my home here in West Bloomfield, and a high school girlfriend was over for dinner. And my girlfriend happens to be a water expert. She used to work for the EPA, and she's done a lot of water quality work. And she was asking me about how the water was going in Flint. And I'm like, you know, people are complaining, but the state tells us it's okay. I'm like, there's bacteria issues, and there's all these other issues. And then she shares with me that they forgot to add, or they neglected to add, corrosion control in the Flint water.
Rabbi G, the book is called A Perfect Guide Created an Imperfect World Perfectly. You can pick it up on Amazon.com and continue to support his great organization and all the work that he's doing. So, thanks again, Rabbi.
Thank you so much.
My own personal thanks goes out to all the guests who participated in the Splash and were able to put up talking with me over these past few months. But truthfully, I've enjoyed talking with every one of you, and I hope to continue the conversation in the near future. Thanks for watching a segment of The Splash. To catch the entire show or other segments, watch us on Comcast Channel 15 or AT&T Channel 99, or look us up online at thesplash.tv and listen to us on WBLD 89.3, the all-new Lakes FM.